Qin Shi Huang, the emperor who sought eternity. In the depths of ancient China, more than 2,000 years ago, a man rose who would change history forever. He called himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor, the unifier of a fractured world, and the ruler who feared one thing above all else: death. This is not only the story of how China was forged into an empire. This is the story of obsession, ambition, paranoia, and an impossible dream: the dream of immortality. Welcome to Shadows of History. Before he was an emperor, he was a boy. Born in 259 BCE, Qin Shi Huang entered a world drowning in chaos. China was divided into rival kingdoms, locked in endless war. Power shifted constantly. Betrayal was routine. Death was expected. At just 13 years old, he became king of the state of Qin. Most believed he would be a puppet. They were wrong. As he grew, so did his hunger for control. Through ruthless strategy, overwhelming military force, and relentless discipline, he conquered rival states one by one. By 221 BCE, the wars ended. For the first time in history, China was united under a single ruler. Qin Shi Huang declared himself Huangdi, emperor, a title never used before. But absolute power brought absolute fear. Qin Shi Huang ruled with iron certainty. He standardized writing, currency, measurements, and laws. Roads were built, walls were raised, early foundations of what would become the Great Wall. Order replaced chaos, but mercy was rare. Scholars who opposed him were buried alive. Books that challenged his authority were burned. Entire families were punished for a single act of defiance. To Qin Shi Huang, unity mattered more than humanity. Yet despite his control over millions, one enemy remained undefeated: time. Death haunted the emperor. Assassination attempts fueled his paranoia. He slept in different palaces each night, never revealing his location. He trusted few, suspected many. But deeper than fear of murder was a greater terror: the end of existence itself. He had conquered the world, but he could not conquer mortality. And so began his obsession. Qin Shi Huang demanded answers from alchemists, mystics, and scholars. He sent expeditions across seas and mountains, searching for legendary lands where immortals lived. Ancient texts spoke of sacred mountains and elixirs that granted eternal life. The emperor believed them. He needed to believe them. Court alchemists offered solutions. They promised pills that could extend life, strengthen the body, and delay death. The key ingredient? Mercury. In ancient China, mercury was believed to be a divine substance, liquid metal, associated with transformation and eternity. The emperor consumed it regularly. He drank it. He swallowed it. He trusted it. Slowly, invisibly, it poisoned him. The very substance meant to grant immortality was destroying him from within. As his fear of death grew, so did the scale of his preparations for the afterlife. Qin Shi Huang did not plan to rule only in this world. He planned to rule the next. Near his capital, construction began on a tomb unlike anything ever attempted. Hundreds of thousands of workers labored in secrecy. What they built was not a grave. It was an underground empire. Beneath the earth, palaces were carved. Rivers of liquid mercury were poured to represent China's waterways. Ceilings were inlaid with stars to mirror the heavens. And guarding the emperor in death, an army. Thousands of life-size soldiers made of clay, the Terracotta army. Each face unique, each warrior frozen in eternal vigilance. They were not art, they were protection. Qin Shi Huang believed enemies would follow him into the afterlife. He was ready. But immortality never came. In 210 BCE, during one of his inspection tours, Qin Shi Huang fell ill. The mercury had taken its toll. At the age of 49, the first emperor of China died, not in glory, but in fear. His death was kept secret as his body was transported back to the capital, hidden among carts of fish to mask the smell of decay. Even in death, paranoia ruled. Without him, the empire he built began to crack. Rebellions erupted. The Qin dynasty collapsed within years. The emperor who unified China could not ensure its survival without him. Yet his legacy endured. China would remain a unified civilization. His systems shaped centuries of governance. His vision outlived his dynasty. and beneath the earth, his tomb remains largely unopened to this day. Scientists still detect dangerously high levels of mercury inside. Perhaps the ancient texts were right. Perhaps Qin Shi Huang did achieve a form of immortality, not in body, but in memory. He sought eternal life and failed, but in chasing it, he became eternal. His name still echoes through history, a warning, a legend, a shadow that never fades. This has been a story from Shadows of History, where the past refuses to stay buried.
If you enjoyed this story and would like to see more in the future, please give us a like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and why not, write to us in the comments what other kinds of stories you'd like to see on our channel. Thank you.